knowing the setup of clean, where you
Right.
put people together and everything, you put accountability partners with
Yep.
you do all those things.
Right.
What do you think still then makes someone be like, I still want to go my way?
If you feed the flesh more than the spirit,
Yeah.
the flesh gonna lead you.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
what it
yeah.
like.
Yep,
there's
yep,
no that's the
Absolutely.
reality of the battle. Like,
Yep.
if one is stronger than the other, it's going to lead you in that direction.
All right, it's good, bro. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. We here. Welcome to Walk Daily with God. Walk Daily with God. For those of you who started off with us, and when it was just we were doing daily bread, we are very excited right now. There's no change in what we are necessarily doing, but it's more just that God has made it very, very clearer to us how he wants us to navigate and move, and that he wants it to really be something where people are able to walk daily with him. So we're very excited to be here with you, and we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Oh man, so I'm not even sure how to even start this joint, bro. So so we're in clean right now.
Yeah.
And just whenever I do clean, it's always warfare. There's always a lot of things going on. Just the enemy attacks from all sides.
Yeah.
And it's like that roaring lion outside of the house is waiting to devour those who stray.
Yeah.
But it's a story right now of a brother of mine who just is going through it, and really reminds me of the Hosea story, right, where he's made a choice in his life where he's now bound to someone that maybe he shouldn't be bound to, right? And try and just give him wisdom around that topic.
Yeah.
So one of the things that interesting scriptures. So for clean people all that don't know, I host a sexual integrity group. So, and when guys come in clean, the hope is to get them in alignment with God as it relates to sexual integrity.
Yeah.
But there are some guys who come through clean who still choose to continue their lifestyle after they leave clean. And what I find is that once you're told and you're no longer ignorant to the truth, the consequences of that is just different. Like the grace that was over you from this ignorance is not there the same way. You're making a conscious choice to defy God.
Yeah.
In this case with this guy, there's a scripture. I think it's Matthew. Let me try to find it real quick. I think it's Matthew chapter 22. I want to say it's 22. That's not what I use it from, but Matthew chapter 22, where Christ talks about 3 types of eunuchs, and he describes the first as a eunuch that is born at birth. So as you may or may not know, a eunuch is someone, especially at that time, that could either be castrated, where they can't have sex. So it's someone that actually lives in the palace and to protect the kingdom so that no one is accidentally impregnated, right? A servant may be castrated to prevent any kind of like sexual activity in the kingdom among royalty. So someone can be born at birth that way, right? There's a second type can be made by men. It's actual castration. The third type is someone that may choose that lifestyle so that they can be in full alignment with God. So someone like Paul, someone like Jesus, who were virgins their entire life. Now, with this man, because of the choices that he's made as it relates to sexual integrity or lack thereof, he's not gonna be. He all intents and purposes, he's in a spot now where sex is now off the table for him. Right, where he's gonna have to live a lifestyle where if he wants to really draw close to God, like sex can't be a part of the equation because he was in such sexual perversion prior that now he has to live a lifestyle of this to be really straight and narrow. and he's really gonna be made a eunuch in that way.
Wow.
I'm kind of trying to do that without saying the whole story. But it's constantly just like, yo, when you really know what sexual perversion is, and you know what God wants from you in your life as it relates to sexual integrity.
Yeah.
When you fall away, man, like there are real consequences to it.
Yeah.
Where now, like, you know, you may have been doing all that you wanted prior, and you may not, while being ignorant, but when you know the truth, you continue in that lifestyle. Like God, and God's name is on you, where God has claimed you, when God's like, where you're outside saying that you are God, that you know Christ.
Yeah. He's
now put you in a position where, like, yo, like, if to really save you, he has to stop you.
Wow.
He's to shut you down for a while, for a time, to get you back in alignment with him. So I think with this man right now, like, this is his time. So it's not condemnation, it's conviction. Now it's time where, okay, there's still opportunity. So the subscription that came to me, and that's what I'll say before I let you jump in, is that I've been studying Mark chapter 1. So in Mark chapter 1, this is the word that I gave this guy yesterday. I realized that Christ was doing all these miracles. He was healing all these people. And then it occurred to me that the leper that he healed at the very end of Mark, so there's a leper that comes to him at the very end. When he's traveling between cities. And of course, you know, lepers cannot live in the city because they're leprous. So like they're outcast, they're shut out. So everyone that Christ healed could not have been a leper while he was in the city. So the leper knows that he heals people, but he also knows that, as far as he knows, he's never healed a leper. But that didn't stop him from going to him. So like, even though the situation was bleak, even though he knew, like, he didn't know if, because he even says, like, if you're willing, you can make me clean. Like, I know you know what I mean. I know you can do it, but only if you're willing to do it. Because I'm a leper, I'm an outcast, I'm outside of the, like, or we don't know how he became a leper. We don't know what the circumstances are. Right. But like, he's like, yo, if you're willing, I know you can. So I told my man, like, yo, like, right now, like, you're being shut down, but like, your posture has to be the posture of this leper, like, because Christ can still heal this. Right. But now it's about, well, are you willing? Because I made this choice. I made this bed. But I know if you're willing, you can still get me out of this thing, right? So I think like that working me, like with Mark, with like this leper man, like he still was like, and of course, you know, Christ said, you know, he stretched out his hand and touched him, and said to him, "I am willing." You know what I'm saying? Be cleansed, right? So but before he even said that, the thing that struck me that Christ did, or Mark describes, is like, the leper implored him, kneeled down to him, and said to him, like, begged him. But the thing that the first reaction from Christ was, he said, Jesus was moved with compassion. So that's a posture. Like, if you can get Christ, if you can get Jesus, our King, in a posture where he's moved with compassion, anything is so.
That's right.
Right. So I told my man, like, yo, I know the joint looks bleak right now. I know that you're in a position where, like, you made a choice that you can't undo. Now you stuck, right?
Absolutely.
But if you can get Jesus in a position where he's moved with compassion for you, you know what I'm saying? Even that leper never saw a leper heal. Maybe he heard about Elisha. You know what I mean? Maybe he know that story, right? But he don't know about, he never saw Christ do it, right? But he's like, yo, like, you can do it, like, if you're willing. So I told my man, like, yo, like, just to pray in that posture, bro. Put Christ in that posture, because this thing can still, like, I said, I don't know how to fix that job. Trust me, I don't know. I don't have no answers for you, bro. Like, I can't help you, but I know our King can help you. I know, like, if you come to him, our Savior can't come to him with that posture. Like, you can still be able to.
No, that's good, man. That's good. Wow. You know, I think I have a follow-up question for you around what do you think happens when people see the light, they hear the light, they see, you know what I'm saying? Like, clean is something where I did clean. That's how we met, right? You met through the clean process. So knowing the setup of clean, where you put people together and everything, you put accountability partners with you do all those things. What do you think still then makes someone be like, I still want to go my way?
What makes them still?
Yeah, and like I still want to do me.
I still want to do me, man. I mean, lust is. Paul talks about this right in Galatians 5, right? Like this battle between the flesh and the spirit.
Yeah.
And what cats have to realize about the flesh and the spirit is like, yo, like, if you feed the flesh more than the spirit, the flesh gonna lead you. That's just what it like. There's no that's the reality of the battle. Like, if one is stronger than the other, it's going to lead you in that direction. Like, the goal is to get the spirit as nourished as possible, so that the spirit can lead us. So I think for the guys who come through clean, I think they're still stuck in their lifestyle. The flesh is still has a hold on them. Yeah, you know what I mean. And they may not know it. It's like it's also the thing where like James talks about like how desire, like it starts from desire. Desire is not sin, but it starts there. It's the seed.
That's right.
And if you allow it to grow, though, it's gonna give birth to sin.
That's right.
And sin brings forth death.
That's right.
So this thing where like these guys still in a position where like, yo, they still haven't this desire, which is really lust, like haven't killed this seed, man. And if we allow it to grow, it's still gonna, because it'll be, you know what happens at the clean, like everybody excited, it's good, week 1 after clean, week 2, but like week, how are you? Because if desire is still, if you're not having killed that joint, like, it's gonna come back, it's gonna still be on you, right? So because for me, man, I protect my environment. I gotta make sure I ain't watching certain things, I ain't reading something, like you can't just live the same way after that, because the world is like it's trying to press upon you every single day, right? To get, you know how you try going. I can't try going Instagram. It's the problem, like it's trying to press to get you back into the same spot. But those are all seeds of desire. Right. So I think the guys who like fall back away or fall or whatever, like it's a lot of it's just from like, yo, like not willing to get, because it's not just about. Lust is not just about sexual integrity. Like it's bigger than sex. Like it's just that's just one branch of the tree.
That's right.
So if you have other things that you haven't really dealt with, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Those joys will still feed this thing, right? So I think for the guys who don't, who don't kind of get it, like, I think that's a lot of this, like, yo, like, we haven't figured out, which I don't know, maybe we're not doing a good job, and we have to figure out how to really get to attack that. Because we try to, but like the understanding of like, yo, like, flesh versus, you gotta really understand the flesh and the spirit. Understand like that what feeds the flesh doesn't feed the spirit, and vice versa. They really, Paul said that they contribute to one another. So you can't, like, if I'm listening to, I don't know what I'm listening to, whatever rapper, like, if he's saying, like, if it's not feeding my spirit, it's not feeding my spirit, it's feeding my flesh, period. It don't matter, like, it can't do both. It's gonna do, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I think that's a lot of it, man, where that piece, man, not knowing that. So I think for these guys who really get and fall back away into that, man, it's just and then Christ said it, right? The parable of the sower. Because the seed of God is perfect. The ground is imperfect, but the seed is perfect.
Seed is perfect. That's right.
Because the question of the parable of the sower was never about the seed. Seed was every scenario. The seed was was good. The problem was like the ground that it lands on. I think sometimes it's even that, like, praying for guys when they come into it, like to have, like, God tills the ground, that God makes the ground fertile, so that and the ground can be fertile in different ways. The ground can be fertile from desperation. You're so desperate that the ground is ready. You know what I'm saying? You put that to the ground, right? Or I don't know, or just willingness, right? Obedience, right? But like, if the ground is fertile, the seed can take root. And some guys who come to clean, they're in such desperation that the ground is fertile. It's like you put. Or it's like they just ready for something else. But some guys, it might hit that ground, it might be rocky. Or you might hit the ground and the anxieties of you know what I mean, the thorns and the anxieties of life. It's like that is what squashes the life. So I think that's kind of it. That's it. It's the ground where that it's hitting, right? And part of that, like you said, with the flesh, is like that's part of like like the words of the world, desires of the world are what kind of like squash the seed from growing in this ground. Right? So,
No, that's so good, man. And I think it's important because part of what we have to be able to do, and we talked about this before, but I think this is good that we're talking about it now, especially in the climate we're in. That there's a difference between good and godly. Right? And a lot of things are good, and that parable is talking about the good things, the pressures, desires of life. So I gotta get mines. I gotta grind. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta, whatever it is, it's a good thing. But if it's not a godly thing, it is feeding the flesh more than it's feeding the spirit. And so the reality is that we're chasing it. We're chasing it. And especially now, in our society, it's all about me, myself, and I. Like, I gotta get mine. And what we don't realize is that a lot of what that's doing is feeding the flesh. And we don't take the time to feed the spirit, man. And so the flesh is enmity, right? It's the enemy of the spirit. So we hope that's blessed you. We are really, really excited for what it is that you have been able to glean from this episode today. So looking forward to the next episode. Until next time, peace. Keep walking with God.
Sir.